So here we are at the pump house with Rolland. He's going to do 101. All right, go.
As you can tell, it's in operation right now. It's the tank levels control the operation of the pump house. When the water level gets down to a certain point, they come on automatically. And what we have going here is the treatment scheme here is we're gonna, as soon as the water comes in out of the well, we're gonna chlorinate it, and that does two things. It precipitates the iron out of the water. Both the old well and the new well were fairly high in iron. There used to be odor controls up here in or odor problems in the development, and removing that iron has taken care of that and the sulfides, and so we end up with the residual chlorine, and that reacts with the chemical that we're using to remove the radium, which is the Tonkazorb. And you can hear the chemical feed pump is feeding that right now. And it'll react with the chlorine. It creates a precipitate that actually absorbs the radium and the gross alpha particles. Gets them into the precipitate, and then we filter that out through 3 stages of filtering. The final stage being a 1 micron. So as you can see, if we was to look at, I'll show you a sample here of the solution as before it goes into the filter. But you can see, it's good looking water. I drink it all the time. The precipitate, what it looks like after
Nasty.
and what that is, that's just that solution of the Tonkazorb, which is a caustic soda. It's got manganese in it, potassium permanganate, and of course the chlorine, and they're coarse particles. It looks pretty brown, and I'll show you one of the old filters here in a minute. But by going through the 3 stages of filtering, we end up with it's a high, look,
Big difference.
I'd feed that to my grandkids.
Right.
No problem there. I don't know what kind of questions you got. John was supposed to be here, and I was going to ask him a couple things. We've got some repairs that we need to make here in the pump house, and he was aware of that. And I don't know if he's talked to you about that. That floor's settling a little bit over there by the hatch, and what actually caused that was we used to have 2 of these detention tanks. One used to sit right over on that corner, and that's a lot of water and a lot of weight, and it caused that floor to settle over there. John did get Jimmy up here, and we stabilized it with a post down underneath quite some time ago, but he hadn't been back to actually level out the floor yet. So that's one of the repairs that need to be made here.
Can I take a peek under there a little bit?
in.
Hey John, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Just videotaping a little bit of this because I don't understand any of it.
Well, surface water systems, they don't even allow you to,
That's the filters, the old ones.
yeah.
And do they clean them and send them back, or
Nope.
you have to
Those
do
go
new?
to the landfill.
They do go to the landfill.
Yep.
Okay. They'll take them in lead or
Well, I put
Sturgis
them in
or.
my garbage can at home.
Oh.
They actually go to Rapid City.
Okay.
I use Kiefer Sanitation, and I've been using my my dumpster at home. They don't have a problem with it. It's just as easy for me to do that. As you know, I don't like using these out here because you never know. I can't control who goes in and out of there. You know.
Right. Right.
You know. So
Kids.
I just soon take
Yeah.
them and my garbage man. He said he didn't have a problem with it. So.
Good. Okay. That's good to know.
Can you explain the flow of water?
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, I kind of see what's going on, but maybe we can see it on.
What we have here, flow's coming in through this pipeline right here, right now, okay? This is the new well. This is the old well over here. You can see it shut off.
Okay.
And we never disconnected that because we felt we needed an emergency backup.
Okay.
If something happens to well number 2, good well, we can always fall back onto the old well.
Okay.
The quality of water in the old well is not as good, so it's going to take a little bit more treatment, but this treatment scheme here will still handle it.
Okay.
So stage 1 is we're going to meter it. This is the raw water meter here. This tells me exactly, how much water comes out of the well and into the system. Flow direction. This is the old pipeline here. There was a dire emergency and we needed to get water into the system. We go directly from the well
Oh, without
Out.
the treatment. Okay.
without the treatment.
So you just turn that, you shut this off, turn that, bypass the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there'll be another, there's a check valve on that end, so there shouldn't be any need to change anything on that end. Close that one, open that, and you're going straight through. Right here, we're injecting chlorine,
Okay.
and I use just regular household bleach. It's, to be honest with you, it's cheaper than sodium hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite is overpriced. You buy it in bulk. You gotta buy 35 gallons at a time, and when you calculate out the free available chlorine, household bleach is cheaper, and it's just easier it's safer and easier to operate. So I just put it
So
in
the bleach is in that tank.
Yep. That's,
Okay.
It's Clorox.
And the Tonkazor is in this.
Tonkazor's in here, and you can look in there and you can see you got the thing about this Tonkazor, it's got to be mixed 24/7.
So it's black. The Tonkazor is black.
Yeah, I'll
It's
show
like-
you. Yeah,
okay.
this is it. Just ordered another. Put one in the other day, and this is what it looks like. And you can see how it separates out. The Tonkazor is actually a pretty heavy precipitate. So,
So is it like a charcoal? Almost?
well, be careful, don't back up.
Yeah, I'm watching her too.
Okay, catch her.
Yeah, I got you.
No, it's not really a charcoal. If you take manganese in solution, it's kind of pinkish, kind of a real rose, light pink colored liquid. And the minute you oxidize it, with either chlorine, and they pre-oxidize it with caustic soda and potassium permanganate. What happens is it reacts with that manganese, and it creates a precipitate. It's a brown colored precipitate. So it's, if you look at it, well, let me give you I'll get you a sample of it over here, I think. You can see what the particle size looks like. Yeah. First sample that came out of there right now.
When we had that,
Anyway,
when we had the
it
really
almost-
dark stuff.
It's about the size of a, like a stick pin, the head of a stick pin.
Okay.
They're pretty good size, and then some of them, of course, will break down into small, almost sand size, and they'll break through. Like 20 micron filter picks up probably 90% of it. Then you go to a 5 micron, and continue with the flow. Once that gets the talc absorbed and the chlorine, it turns, goes back through, and goes into that detention tank, and that gives it time to do its chemical reaction. Comes out at the top, and then enters the first stage of filtration.
So does that have a ton of sludge in the bottom of it?
No,
Okay.
because the flow is actually coming into the bottom.
Oh, okay. Pumping out the top, so it's coming out.
Forcing out the top. So, no, okay. There's enough agitation in there where it won't settle out. And the system runs frequent enough where it's going to keep it from settling out. So, then it's got pressure gauges on each stage from the influent coming in, and the influent on each one of these filters, so I can tell what the pressure loss is on each stage, and that's the indication of when the filters need to be changed. And like I was saying, I got filters ordered. They need to be changed now, this one.
How much is the loss on pressure? How much is the loss?
Actually, John, when he put this control system in, we had him program it so at 150 psi the system will shut down.
Oh, okay, cool.
And if you look at that first gauge coming in just past the meter, we're getting pretty close to 150.
No, yeah, oh, okay.
And that gauge reads a little bit high too, so that's a indication of when they need to be changed, and so I'll be changing these 3 out. There again, it's key. The cost of operation is dependent on how much water gets used, so if there's a lot of irrigation going on up here in the summertime,
It's all filtered irrigation.
it's filtered water. Filtered and treated.
And you have to change these more often then, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because
Change
of
it
that.
more often, and because it's all based on gallons. It's
What's our average monthly usage?
it's been running about 4,000 gallons a day right now.
Okay. Okay, cool. What's the most you've seen it?
Daily use?
Or a month total?
I'd have to get my sheet out, but I've seen it up where probably well over 300,000 in a month.
Summer months?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to get my spreadsheet out and look at it. I've got too many numbers to get in. What's that?
I see, how often are you changing the filters?
Well, I just changed these probably beginning of, about the middle of May, I guess it was.
So what's down underneath here?
Just crawl space.
Okay.
So that would have been just 2 weeks ago, basically?
Actually, I changed on the 28th of May. And what I did is 2 and 3 got new filters, and I didn't have one, so that one I washed, and I'll probably get only about 50,000 gallons out of it. So, but I've got 6. I usually order 6 at a time. That's have one on standby and one online. So I got 6 of them. They should be here this week.
And what's the cost of those 6?
Oh gosh, they're expensive. The ones are a little bit more than the 20s. The 20s I think are running about $160, I think. If I remember right. I think the ones are about $180. And the 5s I think are the same price as the 20s.
So it's like $5.50 to change these out, basically.
And then that Tocador, that runs a 5-gallon tote. I'll go through about 10 gallons on a normal month. Summertime is going to be a little bit more. Those run about $125 for 5 gallons.
Okay.
So we're looking at about $250 there per month on the normal usage. There again, I've seen the usage up and down over the years, and
Depending upon who's watering and who's not watering, and
yeah. And you know, there's a lot of rental properties too, so depending on, you know, what they're doing. You know, if you got rental properties, and these people are paying for the water, so it's no big deal, but each time they rent one of these, you know, maintenance people are changing a hot tub water, and they go through a lot of water. I think they change it out every time.
I don't have a hot tub.
This one
they do
does,
it.
I know, the 2 that I see, are the one across the street and the one next door here. Both
They
of
change
those-
it out every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
I think legally you probably have to.
That's why I'm never gonna have one. Plus, what people do in them, I don't want to know.
So, you know, there again, depending on what the rental property's doing, is gonna dictate too how much water is being used.
All this equipment in here, what would be something that would break down?
The Kevin Pete pumps and the yellow pumps in front of you.
This
Yeah.
Sven pump?
Well, yeah, that's Spin, that's just outfit that sold them. But they're positive displacement metering pump. Those I can typically rebuild them, you know, for a lot less than what you can replace or buy.
What's the worst case replacement cost on that?
Pump?
If we had to buy a brand new pump?
Well, if we had to buy a new pump, those are about $1,200
Okay.
roughly.
How often do you have to work on them then?
You know, they may go a couple of years and not need anything, and I may work on them a couple times a year. You know, you just never know. Other than that, in here we got those 2 chem feed pumps. That mixer, now that mixer is pretty spendy. I think that was about $3,000 if I remember right.
And when the system hits 150, this stops, that stops.
That will never stop.
This goes all the time.
That will be mixing all the time. The chem feed pumps will stop. and the well pump, of course, will stop, and that's all we need. Other than that, then the next item would be probably the well pump.
Okay. How big of a well pump is it?
How big?
Yeah.
Delivery wise, see, what we can do is we can control that with that variable speed control system. I think right now it's probably only running 50 cycles. If you look on that meter up there, the hertz, is that 50 hertz?
Oh yeah.
Okay, 60 hertz is full speed.
Okay.
I keep it down at 50 because it's that's what makes the treatment system work. If you run it too fast, you run it say at full speed at 60 hertz, I don't have enough detention time, and I'm not going to get the radiant reduction that we're seeing now. So that's one of the things that we had to do when we got the system in compliance. When we first put that Tonkazorb in here, it didn't. We still had some samples that were above the limit, and determined that doing some bench scale experiments with it, we ran another sample where I let it sit with the Tonkazorb a little bit longer, and it worked fine. So by slowing the flow going through the system and giving it more time to react in that contact tank, gives us the radiant reduction that we're looking for. And with that at 50 hertz, we probably, and this filter, when that starts to plug like it is getting there right now at 150 psi, that'll slow the delivery through the system down to about 15 gallons a minute.
Wow. Okay.
Normally it'll run about 20 to 25 gallons.
So, any other systems that you work on in these other subdivisions, are they like this?
No,
No.
not exactly like this. I've got a surface water system that basically just uses chlorination and filtration. The well system next door at 76 Ranch, they don't do anything. It just comes straight out of the well and they do the chlorination.
Just that clean of water.
Well, it's they've had some samples that come back for bacteria that don't pass, but they, for whatever reason, with a well system, and this is going to change. The state's going to change their rules on this. Well systems right now are not required to chlorinate. This system is not required to chlorinate. But once we put the treatment in, and they get human hands involved, then they require chlorination. And we need chlorination anyway. It works to get rid of the nitrogen and the sulfides and the iron, and it also is an aid in oxidizing the Tonkazorb and removing the radium. There's another, Oak Mountain, is it, next door? They use this same system.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't operate that one. There's a company out of Rapid City, Blackhawk, I think they come up.
Do you do Silver Peak?
No, I don't. I've done some work for them. I've put a meter in for them over there and done some other consulting with them, but I'm not sure who's operating that system.
But, so this, I guess maybe a more clear question would be, is this type of radium that we're getting, is it consistent with the Black Hills, or is it just, yeah, okay.
Deep water is a different formation.
It's usually in the Deadwood formation. And I think the difference between this one and the one up here with it doesn't have the radium is that one's in the limestone formation, or an upper formation. The Deadwood formation is where you find the radium. That's where you put it.
Okay.
So, you know, there again with 76, they do have some bacteria issues, but all the other things that we test for, they've been in compliance for a number of years.
And is that the Deadwood City?
Pardon me?
The Deadwood City well up there then, that you're talking about?
No, the Deadwood City well is high in radium, and they're actually selling water to Oak Mountain to supplement their well. So that's part of the problem Oak Mountain faced was they needed more water, and they tapped into Deadwood's well over there by the cemetery, and that was high in radium. So that created some problems for Oak Mountain. 76, they're I think probably in a stretch of the Madison Formation, which is higher quality water.
So they're treating at Oak Mountain, they're treating it similar.
Just like
It's
this.
the same deal, okay. So if there was some big ticket item in here as we move forward, if we move forward as a subdivision, that, you know, we would want to foresee some major maintenance on, what would it be? I mean, you've explained kind of everything, but if something needed to be done here with the flow, all the things that are treating it, changed out, brand new, something like that, what would it be?
Other than the things that I pointed out, the rest of these are just physical. These filter canisters, they should last for quite some time. They're stainless steel. Just a major ticket item, I would just go back and say probably those chemical feed pumps and the mixer. Oh, and right behind you, the control system.
This.
That would, you remember what you paid for that? That was about 13,000, I think. The total pump. It was about $12,000 for that control system.
What is the lifespan on those?
Well, you know, long time, but we get a lightning storm, that could take it out too. You know, so I guess you want to make sure you had insurance, you know, for covering stuff like that. Something bite you?
I think I popped something off here.
Oh, let me get it.
I didn't feel I touched it, but maybe it did.
Actually, let me shut this. Okay. Here the system shut down and the two chemical feed pumps are off. Mixers just keeps on running. Yeah, I'll probably, part of it's gotta be that pressure that's on the system. I'll do it while we're talking here, but I'll take care of that. I'll have to take that fitting off. Make sure we got a good compression on it. Yeah, going back to your concerns about the ticket items, this thing right, this system right here would put a dent in your checkbook.
Look, is it on a like a power cord like that if a lightning strike did happen, it would?
No, they've got you know, lightning protection on these systems, but I've been told over the years that there's not a system out there that will stop lightning if it wants to get through. It's going to. You know, when I was with the Lee Devon Sanitary District, we got that water treatment plant up in Lee, and we had redundancy on lightning arresters stacked in front of all the electronic control equipment, and it would still get a
took it out.
transient straight through there. It takes something out. It might not, you know, it might not take everything out, burn everything, but a lot of sensitive components in there that it doesn't take much of a transient spark, you know.
So one thing we should probably consider is getting insurance on that, on most of it.
I would look into it. I don't know what's available out here, but
Do you have a policy on this, don't you, John?
You know, I've got liability insurance. And to be truthful, I'm not sure if it would cover what Rolland's talking about or not. I should find out.
yeah.
But what I have is liability.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't cover the, you know, a lightning strike coming in and taking out your equipment.
Something to think about.
Yep.
How about the tank?
That tank, well, there's nothing magic about that. It's just I believe it's 125 gallon metal tank, and it's just pipe, so you got an influent on the bottom and an outlet on the top. All it's doing is just giving us contact times for that water to pass through.
How often does that need to be changed, though, and how pricey is it?
We've never changed that one. You think you bought that original spend system in what year?
Well,
Must have been about 2012.
I can't remember, but I'm thinking those tanks are $600. $600 to $700.
I suppose, yeah. Something like that.
I know we took one out. I tried to sell it. I couldn't. I think I got $200.
Oh, did you? Well, you made out then. It'd be hard to sell them, I would think.
Well, should we go for a drive? Should we go for a drive?